I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is sunny and 91 degrees in downtown St. Louis at 12:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Jerry Kelly swings next-day installs no matter how late you call. And because they work later every day, they're faster when your equipment just needs fixing, too.
That's MVP material.
Yep, simple fix or a full install, nobody gets you comfortable faster.
JerryKelly.com. This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. And by Anderson Hospital, a Newsweek World's Best Hospital. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Yes, indeed. On a Wednesday afternoon leading up to Cardinal baseball. This is like a 2-hour pregame show. Matt Pauley has your pregame at 1:15. 2:10 first pitch. Chris Ranji with me, Tom Ackerman. Until then, how are you, bud?
Buddy, Cardinals making stuff happen today. A thing that I sort of thought would happen a week and a half ago finally happened today.
And that would be the designated for assignment announcement for Eric Fedde. Fedde has been DFA'd, and so just so you understand what DFA is, Cardinals have 7 days to trade him, put him on waivers. He can clear waivers, and then somebody can pick him up. In the meantime, if he clears waivers, they can designate him for, the minor leagues, which wouldn't happen because he has 5-year service time. So blah, blah, blah. They're going to have to pay him and he leaves, which is something that has been talked about for a while. Can you trade him for anything? Who knows? But it's 8 days before the deadline, and he has been DFA'd after getting shelled again yesterday. The Cardinals went out and did this over and over and over again, putting Eric Fedde out there and a lot of straight pitches. Let me just say this real quick before anybody starts crushing Eric Fedde, because I'm hearing all kinds of people say he's the worst, or he's the most hated player, the worst player. He is a human being, okay? I mean, for some reason, bad pitchers in the major leagues get treated like they murdered somebody. I mean, he's a guy who they kept sending out there. And at once upon a time, he actually was a good pitcher, which is the amazing thing. He pitched for the world champion Nationals in 2019. He went overseas. He came back and actually was a good pitcher for the White Sox to the tune that the Cardinals wanted him. And I actually think at the time
it was a good pickup.
It was a good deal. Edman goes to the Dodgers. Turned out to be a great thing for Edman, who got healthy and won a world championship. Tommy Pham came over here along with Eric Fedde. And the Cardinals end up seeing Eric Fedde fill a spot for them. At that time, though, he had a great sweeper. He had a great cutter, and he's lost it. He has lost it. So, you know what? He has a family and friends, and just let it go. It's over.
Here's what I'll say about the fans, though. They want their team to win, and it's good that they care enough, because the other end of this is apathy. This has been a team that's overperformed, but also is not in first place. They're not in a playoff position. Cardinals fans are desperate for them to be good again. And yes, they have been spoiled for 2 decades prior to this, but there's an expectation the team set for itself. So they want them to be good. I get it. I get where fans are coming from in the frustration. It's not really at Fedde as much as it is the organization, that they feel like the team waited too long. Like they waited too long to do something about it, because at the moment they are in position to maybe be a wild card team. So I get it. I get that frustration. I'm not going to take that, as long as you're not getting personal, with a pitcher and saying, I hate your wife or I hate your family. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, it's part of being a major league player, playing for a team that people really care about. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to, I get it, but I'm not going to get too upset about it. I don't feel that way. I'm not mad at him.
There are other people that are in your position of influence who I think fuel that, and that whether that's in media outlets or social media, it happens. And I don't really particularly care for it, to be honest with you. I think you should redirect your energy towards the team. And the front office.
Well, he's not trying to be bad.
They let it go for too long. And hats off to Dusty Blake and actually Ollie Marmol for, I think, doing what they were told to do, which was, and again, they're not going to say this, but I will. Eric Fetty was put in this rotation over and over and over again. What are they supposed to do? Be like, good luck, buddy. I mean, they're gonna try to work with him to get him better, and he wasn't better. So he's gone. Michael McGreevy is in. Michael McGreevy's awesome. If you saw the interview with Chip Carey and Mike Claiborne talked to him pregame, but Chip's in-game interview yesterday with McGreevy was great. I got Wayno vibes out of McGreevy. I think he's fantastic. And yes, I may have to look at this and say that I did ask them in April, why isn't McGreevy in this rotation? But we'll never know the answer to this.
You weren't the only one.
I know. But I'm just talking about my own experience. Like, I've wanted this for months, but then again, maybe I'll never know the answer to this. Was it good that he was able to pitch up and down a little bit? Did that give him some good footing to see the product that we see now? We'll never know the answer to that. So was it any good for him? Wasn't good for the team. But was it good for him that he was able to pitch regularly in Memphis and then come up and get a taste of the big leagues and get some of that experience? I think he got pulled up and down too many times, but is there some validity to that? I don't know.
If you're looking for a silver lining, it could be it.
Yeah.
That the experience of having to navigate that, being called up, being sent back down, being called up, being sent back down, probably feeling like you should have been there in the first place all season long and not getting that opportunity, but still pitching well. It can do one of two things. Either it is an illustration of the kind of guy he is, or it helped him. You know, it maybe there is a benefit to it if you're looking for something like a silver lining in all this.
Yeah,
I my assumption, and Tom, maybe that's not what happened, but my assumption is that the last couple of weeks of Fetty in the rotation still was their hope that maybe he would give them some good starts and maybe be attractive to some team. I don't know if that's it, but I guess that could have been a benefit. If he's pitching well,
could have been.
If he's pitching well, hey, maybe we can deal this guy for something. It doesn't matter what, but we can make a deal and we can really help ourselves out.
But geez, don't you wish you were like the Yankees or a team like that that just could? That's like, how much do we owe him? Here you go. All right, see ya. Bye bye. I mean, we'll just pay you to go. I mean, we're paying you anyway. Bye. To let it linger this long was frustrating, and it just is what it is.
And Mike, look, we talked to Benji Molina today on the Chris and Amy show. We talked to Ali yesterday, and both of them said that if you're an offensive team and your starting pitching makes you come from behind all the time, like you're falling behind before you get to the third or fourth inning, that eventually it starts to wear on you as an offense, because you do go up to the plate and you do start thinking, well, I got to hit a 2-run homer in this at bat. We get a couple of guys on base. We're down by 3. I got to hit a home run. That it starts to wear. And I wonder if, of course, the players aren't going to say, hey, get this guy out of here. But I'm wondering if privately, many of them were wondering, is the organization going to do something to help us out with the rotation? Because we don't want to have to be having all these comeback wins all the time, which they had a bunch of them, all season long. We don't want to have to keep doing this. I would not be surprised if there were a lot of players in that clubhouse who felt that way secretly.
I agree. And I think you heard it in Ollie's voice yesterday. That's something that you and I picked up on, and I'm sure Bernie did. He just wasn't in the room with us, but we both said it when I asked him about the offense, and he's like, hey, we got our ass handed to us early.
Yeah.
That is exactly it. That was the starting pitcher put us in a hole, and it saps the energy out of the offense, period.
Yeah.
And, he didn't say it in that way, but you could just hear it.
And the players aren't going to say it.
Right.
They're not going to say, yeah, this guy stinks, get him out of here.
It's his fault that I can't hit,
Right.
But, yeah.
But Contreras even saying what he did about McGreevy on Sunday or Monday, after the game on Monday, that was pretty apparent. You could read between the lines there. They want some help in that starting rotation.
Tough deal, but it's over. So now you just move forward, and it is about seeing what you have, and it's about 2026. I'm already kind of excited about 26. I have been for a while, but I want to see these pieces come together. But man, make way for JJ Weatherhold. Holy smokes. Make way. This guy hit another bomb last night. Make way for Liam Doyle. I mean, it's happening. These are top 10 picks in the MLB draft. It is time for Cardinals renewal.
I am excited for 2026 also, Tom. Right before the lockout.
We're going to get 1 year, 1 year, one shot.
I love pre-lockout ball.
Actually, I'm going to ask, I do have a lockout question for Mike Farron. He's coming up next. We'll talk to him as well about the trade deadline. And then we're going to take all of your, don't you worry, we're taking all of your comments, maybe not all of them, the ones that aren't extremely nasty or inappropriate, but we'll take your comments, questions, YouTube, Facebook, X. You can try to call in and get through to Matt Pajeski.
Just don't
if
be
you
filthy.
Dare.
Don't be filthy.
We'll take calls too.
Clean it up.
If Matt's okay with that. 314-436-7900. And, text line, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Voice messages.
Voice
messages. Odyssey app.
Odyssey app voice messages.
Yeah, dude.
Man, there's so many ways to talk to us. It's the Gashouse Gang. We've just talked to Eric Fetty for the last 10 minutes. We're going to talk to Mike Farron next. Gashouse Gang sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and by Anderson Hospital.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A question I get all the time is, how did we become the largest injury firm in the world? We have over 1,000 lawyers in all 50 states and close to 6,000 coworkers. Our call center is on duty 24/7. You can reach us at any time at forthepeople.com. But the real reason is we won a lot. When you visit our website, go to our verdicts and settlements. There you will see what our clients were offered and what they were awarded at trial. All those verdicts help us resolve many cases fairly and early. You see, nothing beats reputation. The insurance industry knows who we are. We even have insurance adjusters call us for representation because they know too. We've made it easy. On your mobile device or computer, go to forthepeople.com and we will get busy. It's that easy. Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
The Gashouse Gang on KMOX with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Our producers are Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd. And joining us now is one of my favorites, Mike Farron. Boy, he's been with MLB Network Radio for as long as I can remember, and spent some time with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I know he's been working with ESPN as well, and he is a great friend of KMOX. Mike Farron, welcome back to KMOX, talking baseball in the middle of the day.
Tom, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Ranji, I see you're also there.
That's what I'm talking about.
You want to hear a story about our guy here? He and I, Farron and I, both applied for the same job with the Diamondbacks, and he got it in front of me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I came in.
Wow.
Right behind him.
So there's
thanks a lot, Mike.
There's
you actually anything to make your life worse, Chris.
Actually, you prevented me from having to move to Arizona, so thank you.
I mean, I don't mind it. It's actually, I'll tell you what, this summer's been incredible. Like, we've only had like 2 gross days, so I'm outside walking right now. It's beautiful.
Oh, our gross day quotient here in St. Louis, our count is through the roof already. It's gross all the time.
It is. It is gross. No, okay. So there's a little bit of this. It's tense in the room. That's fine.
I love Mike Farron.
I'm good with that.
But I
No,
will
are
fight
you
him.
kidding? Ranger and I go, well, if we go back so far, like back to when we were like literally kids in Chicago.
That's right.
Doing lots of stupid things.
That's right.
Farron, you always have some great takes on the Cardinals, which I appreciate. And so I think it's pretty obvious. It was obvious before this, but wasn't it obvious when the Diamondbacks did what they did? I would say Saturday night is when I said, it's over. I mean, it's time to stop thinking about the standings here. Let's think about 2026 for sure. Although really, Mike, it's been going on all year, hasn't it, for the Cardinals? It's really been their goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're starting to get better answers on what the core of this team looks like going forward. And I think you're getting some pretty positive answers for the most part. I mean, I think the growth of Mason Wynn, like he's going to be a really good shortstop for a long time with excellent defensive value. I think, you've seen some fits and starts offensively from Victor Scott II, but I'm really enamored with him as a player because of the defense. And I think, what we saw early in the season, I think there's a little bit more in the tank offensively. He's become more selective. I think he's going to learn a little bit more. He certainly is. He seems to me to be a high aptitude player. So you've got this really strong defense up the middle, and now it's how do you complement it? And the answer is still out there on some of the power, right? Like, we don't really know what Jordan Walker is yet. He needs to get an extended run to try and figure it out, right? You need to figure out exactly how this trio of catchers is going to work. They've done a really good job, and they've done an excellent job offensively, but how that's going to work out. What is the ultimate role for Brendan Donovan? What is Alec Burleson's ultimate role? I think those are important things that they're still trying to figure out and probably won't have an answer to throughout this season. But I view this as a very positive season for the Cardinals organization going forward, in that they have given run to these guys and they've been competitive, and I think I've tried to make this point constantly, like, before you forget, they finished over 500 a year ago, right? Like, it's not like this team was coming from the bottom of the league. So I'm not really surprised they are in the standings. I'm not really surprised that they're going to move out some of the expiring contracts, because I think most teams in their position would do that. And I don't know that their ceiling, because they just don't miss bats as a pitching staff, is high enough to get them to the postseason this year. So I would view this, though, as a really positive season overall for the Cardinals and what they're doing going forward.
Mike, what about their realistic tradable assets? And we know Ryan Helsley probably at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Steven Matz is one of them. So just your assessment of the deadline as we get closer to it, what you think they'll end up doing or what they might do.
Yeah, I think Phil Maton's another one. Certainly he's got plenty of postseason experience too. So I would say that those are the main focus in terms of the relievers. And I think that's probably about it. It sounded like even I think Derek Gould was reporting right around the All-Star break that Miles Michaelis and Sonny Gray aren't interested in waiving no trade clauses. I don't know how much value Michaelis would have. Gray would have a bunch because he's still really good. In spite of his start this weekend in Arizona, I think everybody would line up to get Sonny Gray on that contract and to be able to have him for another year and a half. But I also understand the Cardinals' desire to keep him there and his desire to stay. I mean, even if they are going to trade guys from this year's roster, I don't think that they plan to be uncompetitive in 2026. So I think that's really where the focus is. And then the question is, are they willing to talk about players that have more control? Brendan Donovan's name has been floated around. I don't think that's something that they really want to do because he's so versatile. But can he get you 4 pieces going forward? And then I think the other part of it is going to be like, what is the acquisition strategy for them? Because to me, the need is clear. It's bat missers in both the rotation and the bullpen. I mean, that's what we talked about last year with the teams, what we talk about now. It's really one of the things that separates like Milwaukee from everybody else in the division on the pitching side is they got a lot of guys who get strikeouts. And I think that's something that I'm curious to see how the Cardinals attack it. But those 3 guys are really the ones that I think are the most likely to move on. And then obviously they DFA'd Eric Petty today. I think he'll end up with somebody who needs innings down the stretch, but I don't know that he was going to have a ton of trade value either.
What about Nolan Arenado? John Mozeliak tried to trade him, did have a deal in place. Yeah. He rejected the trade to the Astros. Do you think they'll try it one more time or at least talk to him about it?
I mean, it sounded like Mo was going to talk to him, right? That was what the word was just kind of assess where he's at. I think the problem is that Nolan just doesn't have a lot of value at this point. He's not the same offensive player that he was. He's still owed a fair amount of money. The Cardinals would need to, I think, to get an adequate return, probably eat a large portion of that contract in order to do it. And I'm not sure how much they're really willing to do. I mean, that deal with Houston would have worked out perfectly. At the same time, I understand Nolan's, reticence at that point in the winter, thinking that there might be a bigger market. Or at least someplace else that maybe had fewer uncertainties than Houston did at the time. Hindsight's always 20/20. But I'm not sure that Arenado gets moved. I don't know that there were a lot of teams that are interested in third baseman are necessarily looking for him unless the Cardinals are going to pay down that so that it's a number where if he struggles over the next couple of years offensively, that he can fill more of a bench role with those teams.
Mike, this Cardinals organization and the fan base really has been sort of wanting them to change the way they do business. And we know they're getting a new president of baseball operations. So the organization is going a different direction. From a national perspective, is the Cardinals' new and future direction, is it considered to be a good one?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think most people think Chaim Bloom's a pretty smart guy. And, he certainly has worked with some really good organizations. And I think a lot of what you see in Boston's success has come from the decisions that Chaim made. I think the fact that he's been able to essentially audit the organization for a couple of years is going to give him a leg up on most other executives when they walk into that new job for the first time. He's going to have a real sense of who he thinks can play and who can't. And I think he's going to target the things that most mid-market teams are going to target, which is controllable talent that is going to be relatively inexpensive, that, he's fortunate in that the Cardinals tend to have more largesse than a small market team does or a market their size does because they have such a great fan base. And so I think he'll try and leverage that in ways. I think it'll be a little bit different than the way John Mozeliak's gone about things. But in the end, it's going to be about identifying the right players and then getting the most out of them. And I think it's a positive in the way that they have worked on their player development structure. I'm really curious to see, how they continue to evolve in amateur scouting. I think it's a pretty good scouting department personally. Know a lot of people that are over there. And I think that you're going to see probably different emphasis. I think you're already starting to see that in the minor leagues and the way guys are developed. So I think overall it's a positive. I think Chaim's really smart. I think it was a great guy to add to the organization. And as awkward as this situation might have been this year with, hey, the new guy is standing over the shoulder of the guy who's been there for, in this position for nearly 20 years, I do think that once John Mozeliak rides off into the sunset, that it's going to be a pretty smooth transition, and Bloom's going to have a really good idea of what he has in the organization and what still needs to improve.
I think that's a good answer and absolutely true. And last thing for you, Mike, is, and I'm just going to read what Dustin said on YouTube because it's along the lines of what I was going to ask you. He says, I'm of the opinion that the Cards front office is in a holding pattern, almost feigning towards competing in 2026, but with a wait and see approach in the post CBA landscape before really jumping in for 2027. I think that's an interesting comment, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think some of it's going to depend on, what kind of answers they get. Like, it's also not the most robust free agent class this winter. I do think that the looming, potential lockout and it certainly sounds like the owners are planning to lock the players out at the end of the collective bargaining agreement. If that comes to pass, like maybe it changes, but I'm not sure that there is. I think there is this perception that there is going to be a seismic change in the way the business is done in Major League Baseball. And if that were to happen, I don't want to tell you what it's going to take for that change to happen that everybody seems to think is what's going to be in this post CBA world. Because if it were to happen, I think it could be disastrous for the league and for the sport. And so I just don't I think there's an awful lot of posturing that's going on between the league and the players, as there always is in a labor negotiation. And I think I would take both sides' comments with a little bit of a grain of salt. But the worst thing that can happen for this sport, regardless of what people think is a perception of a capped league or anything like that, would be something that costs a significant number of games. And there's not going to be a seismic change to the financial landscape of baseball without that. There just isn't. And if that were what the recovery is like, because as soon as people realize that there's other things that they can do in the summer, it's going to be really tough to get them to come back.
Bingo. Yeah.
Yep.
Boy. Baseball is on its own in the summer. There's no doubt about that. You got to have it. Mike Farron, it's great to be with you. MLB Network Radio. I was always envious that you were talking baseball in the middle of the day. Now we get to do it on KMOX. So we copied you basically.
Well, I'm glad that we were finally able to have an impact on someone, whether it was positive or not.
Have a good one, man. Thanks as always for joining us.
You too, guys. Take it easy.
Good man.
Mike Farron. He's the best.
Yeah.
MLB Network Radio. But he's right about this, and we talked about it earlier. Baseball, I don't think any sport wants, except for the NFL, they don't want to play around with the fragmented audience the way it is now. All you're doing is inviting people to find something else to go do and never come back to you. They do not want to lock out.
No, not at all. It'll be fascinating to watch, though. Everybody's already digging in, and we're over a year away from that conversation. We will take a quick time out. When we come back, we will take your questions and comments. Chris Ranji, Tom Ackerman. It's the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and by Anderson Hospital. We'll be right back.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
I had heard about 3-day kitchen and bath. I kind of always dismissed it thinking, well, nobody can do that in 3 days. I wanted somebody who was going to come when they said they would come and, do what they said they were going to do. What I liked best was having it done in, less than a week, the whole thing from top to bottom. Nobody could believe that I really had it done that fast. They absolutely held up to every single thing that they agreed to. I especially loved the fact that I didn't have to go out all over town. The overall quality was very good. All the workmanship was so excellent. They'll definitely do exactly what they say they're going to do. There's no surprises, no added costs later. They stay until everything's exactly the way you want it, and you're done.
Thanks, Lori. Check us out online at 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Oh, you don't even want to know. It is 94 degrees right now. The AccuWeather Real Feel is 114. Yuck. It's going to stay hot until at least 7 o'clock tonight. And that's the weather.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. For over 65 years, Renner Garage Door has delivered top-notch service, sales, and installation. Get your free estimate today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER. RENNER.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Upgrade your family vacation with an unforgettable escape to the Palm Beaches. From outdoor adventures and laid-back beaches to thrilling family attractions and animal encounters, the Palm Beaches have something for everyone. Discover premier resorts with creative kids clubs that will keep the little ones entertained while you enjoy world-class golf and spas. We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
Chris Ranji for Siteman Cancer Center, and you have to know that you are somebody's favorite person, and your health matters not just to you, but it matters to people who care about you. Getting screened early for any cancer, whether it's colon or breast cancer, prostate cancer, or lung cancer, it is important to do that. Siteman has set up a website called GetScreenedNow.com. And when you go to it, it's going to help you find a location nearer you. If you live a little farther out from St. Louis and don't want to make the trip into the city, you can get screened closer to home. GetScreenedNow.com, because for me, I'm over 45. It's time for that colonoscopy. Third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in both men and women. And GetScreenedNow.com will help you find a location that is good for you. Doing it early, really, really important. GetScreenedNow.com.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gashouse Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Who's angry? Somebody's angry.
Someone's mad at us? Are they mad at us?
I don't know. Somebody just called in. They are angry.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
Denny, you're on KMOX. How are you?
Thank you. All right, sir. I'll tell you what, twofold. First of all, the Cardinals stink. I've never seen them be so bad.
Here we go.
No, that's the truth. That's
No,
not
go
an
Yeah.
All right. And obviously, the attendance is down 50% because people in the county aren't going to go downtown and get shot at or have their windows broken into. I won't go, and I know all my relatives won't go. The young people won't go. That's what's wrong. Cardinals ought to move out of St. Louis City and come to the county.
They went to the Savannah Bananas, didn't they?
40,000 people there for that game.
Two of them.
It's about the team being good. If the product is good, people will show up like they always have in St. Louis. It's not about crime. I think people use crime as an excuse, but that ain't it. That ain't it. When the Cardinals are winning, people will come here. We've had a crime problem in St. Louis for as long as I've been alive, and people have still filled that ballpark. It's not that.
They went to see Kendrick Lamar and SZA. They
did.
They went to go see.
What was the country of Post Malone when he was here?
Post Malone
and Jelly
Roll.
They saw that. That's not it.
I mean, I appreciate the effort to make the call, though. And
it's not that difficult to make a phone call. It just, Tom, it really is.
It's putting yourself on the air and the courage to go on the air and say stuff. But man, it's not about that. It's not about that.
No.
It's about the team and people. Now here, this will be interesting. Is when John Mozeliak's contract expires and he becomes a consultant or for somebody, whether it's Cardinals or somebody else or whatever it is, and Chaim Bloom takes over full time, will the fans come back then, and what will it take to bring them back? And if they don't eventually come back, who is that on? I defended the fans for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, look, I won't tell them what to do. They've raised their voice. They've made their statement. They're the best fans in the world, blah, blah, blah. Don't make me look bad now. I mean, if the Cardinals start looking better and John Mozeliak, if you tell me you're protesting John Mozeliak and perhaps to some extent the ownership, I want to see what happens here moving forward if there's a different look. The real third man blames the media. Everyone, that's the easy way out.
Yeah,
Everyone blames the media. We get crushed for everything.
For everything, man. That's true, third man.
Let's go. This is Henry. Padres in a wild card spot. Only 3.5 out now that McGreevy is in the rotation every 5 days instead of Fetty. It's a massive upgrade, a series win, and a strong homestand. 25 still alive. Henry, I appreciate that. I've seen you through the last few weeks make the similar statements in the comments. I will go the other way. Mike Schultz coming in here with loads of talent, some momentum, and obviously he'd love to beat the Cardinals. This could be, you want to talk about the end. If they put it on the Cardinals in this 4-game series.
Yeah, that puts it away for this season, probably. Let's talk to Steve. Shall we? Got a phone call?
Steve, go ahead. You're on the Gashouse Gang.
Hey guys, love the Cardinals. The history of the Cardinals. I'm sick and tired of people ripping the downtown St. Louis. I realize St. Louis has its problems, but I'm headed up to Chicago to see one of my kids. Chicago keeps stealing our kids, and they have every big city right now has criminal problems. And quick on that, you just need to flood the downtown like Detroit did with cops, and people will start coming back. They did it in Greektown there. But my big thing with the Cardinals is, I was talking about with one of my other kids, and they're like, well, what jersey do you buy? And we've gotten spoiled. If you look at all the statues out in front of the stadium right now, they've got some nice pieces, but I think ideally they trade off at the deadline. I mean, everybody, even see if you can get Sonny Gray to go, and you just get rid of everything that's valuable, that's not a young, controllable piece. And then you've got to bring in somebody that wants the fans to come and watch. I mean, I don't care if it's a 32-year-old Schwarber type guy. They've got to have something that, I mean, right now it's a pretty boring product right now, guys. There's really nobody that, and let's stop, hanging on Newt Bar. Okay. I know he's got a funny name, and I know that people in Japan love him. He's not that good. So the whole Newt Bar thing, if there's people that want Newt Bar, we have enough of Newt Bars out there. Send Newt Bar packing, guys like that. And let's get a guy in here that fans want to come watch, guys that want to maybe buy a jersey that has their name on the back of it. Right now, they've got some nice pieces, but they're going to have to spend some money to get the fans back. They can't just sit on this routine.
Yeah, and Steve, let me ask you this question, because I've had this contention for a while that Cardinals fans, and you're right, they need to get back to superstars on their team, because that's one way you sell tickets. I have this contention that fans are now more willing to sit through a rebuild and maybe even still go to the games, go to the ballpark. If the Cardinals say, look, we're rebuilding because on the other end of the rebuild, we're going to be good. And we're going to do it like the Astros did it and the Cubs did it and all these other teams. Would you be on board for that if they did that? Or would you say, I'll stay away until they're good again?
No, I mean, hey, we don't have a lot of shiny toys in St. Louis. I mean, I'm sick of the ripping of St. Louis. St. Louis is still a great town, still has more muscle and more power than Kansas City that's on a good run right now. Look at the Fortune 500 companies, et cetera, the history. I love St. Louis, so I'm not giving up on the shiny toys. It's just so darn hot, and there's just not a fun product. But I totally agree with you. If you've got a good young team and they haven't, and this whole thing with Mozeliak, and Mozeliak goes to the same church as I do. I know he's a good man, but his whole Kremlin, can't say a word, I'm above the fans, nose in the air attitude, which isn't really defining him, but that's kind of how he approaches it. But they need to tell the fans what they're doing. They need to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is our plan. Maybe after the trade deadline, you do it. Maybe you say, hey, we're adding pieces, but we have the intentions of getting some guys in here that the fans can get excited about. They just have to, this whole thing of like, hey, we don't need to tell you anything. That works great when you go to 10 to 12 straight seasons of playoff baseball. But when you're just a boring team, middling like this, you've got to give the fans some direction. So I agree with what you're saying. It's fine going with youth movement. You see the Victor Scotts, you see the Mason Wins, you see there's a lot of nice pieces there. And I think Walker's the kid's 23. You see a lot of really good pieces. Please don't mention Nootbaar to me, but you see a lot of really nice pieces. I think you come in and Herrera, I think, could be your bat, but they need to, like you said, I'm glad they're going after fireballers. Bring the kid up from Tennessee next year. Go for broke. I'll go watch him when you put Michaelis out there and Fetty out there. That's telling the fans you don't give a darn about winning. That's saying, hey, come down here, spend $18 on a beer. We really don't care if we win or not. When Michaelis goes pitches, I feel like grabbing a bat and running to the plate. It's embarrassing. It's utterly embarrassing.
Steve,
sorry they spent $18 million on him. He stinks.
Appreciate the phone call, Steve. Steve's passionate. That is the good thing. Steve is everywhere. His thoughts are everywhere, but you know what that means? He cares.
Good phone call from Steve. He doesn't want a Nootbaar concrete at Ted Drew's anytime soon. He also brought up a point about star power. Bill DeWitt III himself said this on this very radio station to me when he talked about the three pillars, I guess, the foundation of what the Cardinals are and what made them successful. Personalities, so Jack Buck, Harry Carey, Mike Shannon, and the people who spread the message of the Cardinals, but also just the great characters and people through history with this team. The big one, though, was championships, 11 of them, and all the pennants won is a big part of it. And then he said the third one was Hall of Famers and players, the great players. That is what made the Cardinals what they are, and it's what brings people to the ballpark as well. And that's my comment. It's what brings people to the ballpark. They want to see great people do amazing things. And right now you have one person on this 26-man roster who is going to be in Cooperstown, and that's Nolan Arenado. You have to have great players, and the Cardinals have not, in fairness, produced a star that's going to Cooperstown out of their minor league system since Yadier Molina. I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves. So
he's the most recent.
You know, they have to. That's what they have to get back to. And so when Chaim Bloom gets in front of the microphones and he starts talking to the media on the record, and he will do that soon as John Mozeliak steps away, and maybe before that, I don't know their plan there, but he will say things that you want to hear. I think as a Cardinals fan, he's going to say that we are building our farm system and our minor league system back to what the Cardinals fans expect it to be. He's going to reference that the Cardinals basically invented the farm system. I mean, they were the ones back in the old days that made it what it is. And at one point, not that long ago, really, they were the envy of baseball. They were the number one organization in baseball. He is going to focus on that very thing without losing the major league product.
And they didn't stay on top of it. You know, they were on the forefront of the system of being better than everybody else at identifying young talent and turning it into major league contributing talent, but they got bypassed. And it looks like they are taking the appropriate steps to get better at that, but it's got to work because we know they're not going to swim in the $700 million waters on a player like Shohei Ohtani. We know they're not going to do that. So, and I don't know that I necessarily expect them to do that, but if they're not going to do it that way, then they better grow them. You better grow a star. More than one, really.
There are a lot of comments coming in. I'm trying to put as many on the screen as I can. I know that David Newman has had a whole bunch, so let me just throw a couple of them up as well. Any talk about Kyle Leahy possibly being stretched out to start, not from the team necessarily, but that was a great outing by him yesterday under some very difficult circumstances. His grandmother passed away earlier in the day, but man, he was striking people out and looking like the old Kyle Leahy in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that. David also asked about Tekoa Roby because they never really said what his injury is. It was unspecified. Just remember, he's had some shoulder issues in the past, but I do like his repeatable delivery. I think he is somebody to watch, but I don't have an answer for you on what his timetable is. They've kept that one under wraps. And David also mentioning that Arenado, his offense has slipped. There's no doubt. It's still an elite defensive player, though.
Yeah.
Barry agrees with our caller about Walker, but that he's not made any strides with his bat. Unfair of Cardinals to expect too much too fast, says Barry. I agree, actually.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I think that he's talking about with Walker, of course. And
this is Jordan Walker. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe maybe he did come up here too quickly. Maybe, but if they thought he was ready and he was looking, if he was looking to them like he could handle being here, then it was the right thing to do to bring him up, but they probably should have just left him here. That would, even if he was struggling, my contention is you just let the guy stay here and figure it out and try not to do the yo-yo thing, because I think that is counterproductive.
They might do it differently knowing what they know now.
Maybe.
And as Mike Farron just told us, hindsight is always,
of course,
2020. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more of the Gashouse Gang. Good show today. Thanks for your participations. Keep them coming. We have another round of comments from our listeners and viewers next.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. It's National Carpet Cleaning Month, and because of Zero Res's commitment to the DGS, you're going to get 3 rooms of carpeting clean plus 1 free plus $50 off your air duct services. 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger, inviting you to a weekend you won't forget, the 37th annual Lake of the Ozarks Shootout. Our shootout is the largest unsanctioned boat race in the country. It's free to attend, packed with family fun, and it's all happening right here in Missouri. Join me and thousands of visitors from across the country for a weekend of racing and Missouri hospitality at its finest. I'll see you at the lake.
Sponsored by the Lieutenant Governor of Missouri.
Experience the magic of the Fabulous Foxes 2025-2026 Broadway season, which includes the return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHEV.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Named one of Newsweek's world's best hospitals for 2025, Anderson Hospital is your hospital for life, delivering exceptional, compassionate care to families across the Metro East. From emergency services to specialized treatments, our dedicated team supports your health at every stage. Experience world-class care close to home. Discover the difference at andersonhospital.org.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, August 26th or Thursday, August 28th at Fleming's. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling and by Anderson Hospital on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I will say this about Jordan Walker. He's hit a few rockets recently that either got caught or fell before the wall. I mean, better. He's hit some rockets that probably would have been home runs in other parks. But anyway, let's go to Matt. You're on KMOX.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Dude, it's funny. I watch more KMOX today than I think I ever thought I would in my life. I'm tuned in at noon, 5, 6, and after the game. I think I watch more KMOX now more than I watch the Cardinals. So
you really need to start at 9 a.m.
That's right. You've got that's the Chris and Amy show?
You damn right.
I'm on at 5 if you want to go there.
I at least see it on my screen. And Tom, I watch you on Sunday morning, sports on a Sunday. Fantastic.
Appreciate that, Matt.
I just wanted to say, and I think Steve touched at the end. Steve touched on a little bit what I wanted to say. I'm down in Houston, Texas now. So my family and I get to about one game a year. But we always make a point. We make a point to try and buy nice seats. We try and make a point when an interesting pitcher is pitching. Like for years it was Adam Wainwright. We went to Sonny Gray this year because my son's a pitcher. And just to get to go and have a nice angle to get to watch what they're doing on the mound, it is fun. But, I mean, for my family of 3 to go and for us to go ahead and do it up with, dinner and drinks and whatever, we're going to spend $400 or $500 at the ballpark for one game. And we're happy to do it. It's one game. But at the same time, I'm thinking as I'm listening to some of the other fans too, it's like, the Cardinals are still asking for the fans to make a championship effort when you're asking us to pay that kind of money to come and see the team.
I hear that.
I think, and again, the phrase I want to focus on is a championship effort. Teams have to go through rebuilds and things sometimes, but the whole situation with both Fetty and Michaelis, this has been kind of embarrassing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got the manager is all but pleading for change, and the front office isn't getting it done. And every time they're putting a guy out there that's not part of our future, it's not like, I think you can make an argument you're making a championship effort when you put a young guy out there who needs the at-bats to get better and help you win.
Good call, Matt. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I do feel some fatigue in the fan base.
And I will never tell anybody, spend your money. If you don't, look, you do not have to do anything you don't want to. If you don't want to spend $400 or $500, you don't have to do that. I think can you bring your own food into the ballpark here?
You can.
I mean, you can do that if you want to cut back on some of the costs.
Hopefully.
But I would never get upset with somebody who says, I just don't want to spend my money.
Hopefully Hein Bloom will give you all a fresh shot of espresso and we get this baby rolling again.
Come on, let's go.
Thanks for joining us on the Gashouse Gang.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for 213 Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. Look, 213 Complex is the most